Hello everyone. So today we shall going to tackle a very interesting SQL interview question. So we have got two tables, the student table and the friends table. So we're going to use these two tables to tackle this SQL interview question. So the question is find each student ID, name, number of friends, and the total score for their friends, including only those friends combined score is greater than 100. So we have this table containing the student details. So we have the student ID, we have this student name, and then we have the student score. And then we have this table containing the student, their respective friends. So we are only required to include the friends, to only include those friends whose combined score is greater than 100. So for example, student ID 1, he has friends 1 and 2 and 3. So come back to this student table and check for 2 and 3. So the total score for the 2 and 3 is 38. When you plus the 11 plus 27, we're going to get 33. So that means student 1 doesn't qualify because we only want students whose friends combined score is greater than 100. And you can see the student 1, the total score of his friends, they are only 38 marks. And then we have student 2. Student 2 has a friend 1 and 3. So you can see to this student table, you can see student 2 has friend 1. So friend 1 is 88 and another friend is 27. So if you take 88 plus 27, this will give you 115. So 115 is greater than 100. So that means student 2 will be part of the final output since his or her friends combined score is greater than 100. So let's solve this question. So first we're going to join these two tables, the student table and the friends table. So we're going to write select from, and write from. So we are combining students is table. So you can alias this as S, and we are combining based on, we are joining them based on join. So we are joining this table called friends, and we can call this, we can alias this as F, and we're joining based on the student ID, the S dot student ID, student student ID equals to, we're going to join it with the friends ID from the friends tab, the friends. So F dot friends friend ID, and then So we can write, so we can add the relevant column here. So one of them can be the student. So we can say f dot student ID comma f friends ID. Then we can also have the score from the student table score. So that is s dot score. So if we run this, here on this, you can see we have the student ID, we have the friends, and then we have the total score. So by doing this, we can easily find the summation of score of each and every, the friends of each and every students. So we can simply do the summation of each and every student. So we can decide to remove this, and then we sum. So we are just summing up the score. So for example, student ID 1, the score of his student are 11 and 27. And then student ID 2, the score of his friends are 88 plus 27. So we can just sum into bracket, and then if I call this as total friends score, total friends score, and then we're going to group by, and then we're going to group by and then, so if we run this, you can see, so we have student ID 3, 4, and their respective total friends scores. So, but the question is asking only the friends whose combined score is greater than 100. So that means we'll have to filter these two students. That is, these two students who have the total friend score greater than 100. So that means that will be 2 and 4. 2 and 4. So we can use the filter to filter only the total friend score who's 100. So since we are filtering the aggregated value, we're going to use having clause. So into right here, having some score, having some score greater than 100. Yeah, so this one will only filter the student whose total friend score is greater than 100. And then the question was asking student ID. So currently we don't have it. So currently we have the student ID, and then also the total score for their friends. So this is the total score for their friends, and then we have name and number of friends. So we can include the number of friends here by just write count, and then call this one as number of friends. So if we run this, we're going to have the number of friends. So student ID 4 had 3 friends, and student ID 2 had 2 friends. And then we'll have to include the name of the student. So that means the name of the student is found in student table. So we're going to join these two tables, this one and this one, the original student table. So for that case, we're going to use what we call CTE. So we're going to write with so this table you can call it, let's just call it details as. So the whole of this table we've temporarily call it details, and then we'll now bring the um, student table. So we're going to write select from from format this student table. So we can call this one as S, and then we want to join this student with this table that we call it details. So we're going to join details. So this one can alias it as D, and then we're joining based on the dot student ID equals to S dot student ID, and then we're going to write the relevant column. So one of the column that is required is name. So we can just start with that one. So name is found in the student table. So we can write S dot name, comma, and then we want all the columns from this table. So we can write D dot star. So this one will give us the all columns of this table called details. So if we run this, the whole of this, we're not going to have name, student ID, total friend score, and the number of friends. So we have successfully answered our question because it asked to find each student ID. So student ID, the student name and the total score for their friends and the number of friends, and we only include the friends combined score which is greater than 100, and you can see it we have only total friend score greater than 100.